Soldiers fight off hordes of people clamouring to get inside to watch a local bodybuilding show. Sounds of nearby explosions and gunfire accompany the clanging of weights during workouts. Amateur competitors are revered as national heroes, interviewed and publicised in propaganda broadcasts. Protein powders and muscle tech supplements are spoken about in awed, hushed whispers and traded in secret from border locations on the black market for greenbacks. In a sport seemingly incongruous with its environment, these are some of the contrasts which comprise the fascinating behind-the-scenes foray into bodybuilding in post-September the 11th Afghanistan in the early 2000s. Andreas Dalsgaard's documentary Afghan Muscle reveals how a sport as unlikely as bodybuilding has taken root, flourished, and attracted national fervour in an impoverished country decimated by the chaos of war and shifting uncertainty of continuous political upheaval. The film's protagonists, Hamid and Noor, could be any two guys smitten by the iron, chasing dreams of muscular perfection in a country where dreams are tenuous and dangerous bastions of the mind's resources, otherwise geared towards the struggle of daily survival. Members of the same clan, Hamid and Noor, both vowed to uphold the family tradition by pursuing bodybuilding to honour their brothers and uncle killed in a plane crash which ended the lives of the entire national team. Beyond this filial duty, however, it's easy to see that the two are plainly in love with the sport of bodybuilding. Not only are Hamid and Noor fighting for the pride and honour of their clan, they have pinned their hopes and dreams on bodybuilding as a pragmatic means for escaping their otherwise hopeless situation. For them, bodybuilding provides solace from the smoking ruins and chaos of endless wars, a semblance of control and certainty in a land fettered by the external forces of daily bedlam and destruction. Their struggle for muscle is not without considerable challenge. Scarcity and poverty restricts them to the absolute basics. Their journey is further compromised through dealings with unscrupulous power players. Hamid is sponsored by the local gym owner, but in a fit of jealousy, his stipend of 15 eggs a day is reduced to a meagre 5 per day. Federations also often stiff the athletes with pricey membership fees, adding to the already heavy financial strain. Filial duty notwithstanding, their dreams also put them at odds with the traditional social and cultural dynamic. Few could deny the often selfish and individualistic road bodybuilders must take when it comes to competition. This single-mindedness of purpose leads to an inevitable clash in a society operating under the necessity of collective cohesion. Hamid and Noor face the opposition of family members who view this oddity of bodybuilding and its successes with disdain. They rebuke the boys for wanting to train instead of praying at the temple. They are confused as to why both men pour everything they earn into the sport and refuse to be married off. Like many others in love with the iron, both have no such desires for this imposed life of normalcy and deeply steeped tradition. Bodybuilding in Afghanistan is likewise a world without women. Strictly relegated to the participation and consumption of men only, women are conspicuously absent from the audience crowds and no provision are made in the documentary to even elicit or include their opinions on the matter. Men ogle their muscular brethren, catcalling and whistling from the crowds. In the West, we might pass comment on how huge someone is in order to pay compliment. They use the word beautiful to achieve the same purpose. To the Afghans, beauty is more important than raw, pure beast. Competing on the world stage at the Asian Championships in Bahrain, the cultural divide is ever more amplified. Contrast between the conflicting realities of war-ravaged Kabul and the opulence of Bahrain, not to mention the realization that they are far outclassed by superior and often much better resource competition, brings reality crashing home for the pair. It's an interesting insight into a world and cultural explosion of bodybuilding, with the popularity just behind soccer for many whose circumstances put international stardom out of reach, but they still fanatically embrace the sport for pure love alone, and as one article put it, they flex guns instead of firing them. Cafes, bars and shisha clubs may now be closed under Taliban rule, but paradoxically gyms continue to thrive. Men pack themselves into gyms contained in basements or old bomb shelters with little hopes of employment and nothing but time to kill in the midst of Afghanistan's ruined economy. Once inside, the energy of the men transforms. In normal life, their expressions are anxious, hopeless, and postures crushed by the weight of paranoia and fear. In the gym, they crack wide smiles and shout words of encouragement as they spot their friends and help re-rack weights. For Afghanistan's men, the gym is not only a social occasion, but an opportunity to take life into their own hands and regain some of the agency in a world that's completely unpredictable outside. It's also one of the few shared spaces they can find a place of peace, set aside their differences and relax. I think people like the gym because you don't need to fight or beat anyone else, one member shares with a smile. And although the Taliban take a very dim view of the pride that comes with bodily display, they are yet to close down gyms for breach of their vague rules on modesty. The men might have to remain covered for the most part, but the Taliban strangely allow music to be played in the gym despite their bans elsewhere. Likewise, the unexpected posters of Arnold and Ronnie Coleman, as well as a few local legends, still adorn the walls. Arnold has become somewhat of an Afghanistan icon, with many inspired by his story and accomplishments as motivation for themselves. And of course, this safe space remains closed to half the population. Along with education and employment opportunities, sport and fitness remain shut off to Afghan women and girls. Overall, this is a stunning documentary that was not only deeply moving, but also made me extremely grateful for the opportunities and resources that we have in more affluent countries to pursue our dreams and goals without the accompanying dangers and challenges that these guys face every day. Furthermore, the film is both a celebration and a testament to how pure grit, passion, and determination will always trump high-cost supplements, fancy gyms, and the external obstacles placed in the way of those with an iron-like resolve, driven to succeed with otherwise limited means and resources. In light of the disappointing Generation Iron released a short time after, Afghan Muscle shows in stark contrast just how pampered and whiny we in the West have become in a sport that's supposed to be about building character and fortitude as much as it is about building pure brawn and sinew. It's also a reminder that regardless of our differences, we are connected to a global brotherhood of similarly minded men and women who manifest the same dreams as big as our own. I highly recommend giving this an hour of your time if you haven't checked it out already. Watch this for a large dose of inspiration and gratitude. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the film Afghan Muscles in the comments below, and please like and subscribe if you want to stay updated for future bodybuilding related news, truths and reviews. If you'd like to support the work I do on this channel, please consider a super like or visit the links in the description below. Thanks again.